other than Jody. Andrew Robinson, enough respect, love, respect, and justice for all. Yes, karibuni sana. Good afternoon, grand rising to everyone who's live with us on YouTube, everyone live with us on BitChute, everyone with us on Rumble. Hope you guys are doing great. And on the radio, and to those who get to listen to this on a replay or catch this on a replay. Karibuni sana. I'm your host, JOBY, and I hope you guys are doing great. Hope your Tuesday is smooth, or rather, you're looking forward to a smooth Tuesday. So far, so good right here. An amazing afternoon. The weather has been kinda shaky. It's been raining. That was yesterday night. It's super muddy out there. But also in some places in Kenya, it's also snowing. I forgot to share the video on WhatsApp. I was supposed to share that video on WhatsApp. In some places in Kenya as well, it is also snowing. But that's not what we're here to discuss today. I have an interesting conversation today where we shall be talking about the carbon emission, rather the carbon credit, which has led to so many African people losing their lands. And of course, this is actually being performed by companies like Meta, Netflix, and it is crazy because the same companies are highly involved in other things when it comes to Africa. The way they benefit even from our own resources and so much, it is super crazy. Yesterday we were talking about how we need to understand why we are affected by the current events, which we have to go back to history. And of course, with everything I'm about to share right here and some details that are going to be mentioned, it just shows exactly why we need to go back to history and why we need to question or understand the deals that most of our president might have signed or have signed behind our back, and why we need to be very much involved. So karibuni sana. Basically, that is what we shall be talking about: carbon credit, especially in Kenya, but generally Africa as well, carbon emission, and of course, literally how many Africans are suffering from these particular companies. But before we get started, of course, that was an amazing jam. We started with, that was BN with Inauma. I hope you guys did enjoy that. And of course, we shall be getting back to one more jam. But before that, I'd like to remind you, if this is your first time, kindly follow us, subscribe, and ensure you have our application, which is very amazing. And actually, I tell you, we love our application because, rather, I love our application because it is very easy to use. You can be able to stream on the radio if you're not able to catch us live right here on YouTube, Rumble, BitChute. You can be able to go on the radio and, of course, listen to all the programs so long as you are connected on the internet. And it comes with actually all the news and updates of everything happening globally, starting from Africa to Asia to America. Literally globally, you are updated of every information of what is happening. And also, we have amazing supplements. We say your health is your wealth. And when we speak about your health, we know this part of carbon emission is part of us. So come on. I'll be letting you know, guys know, of course, about these amazing supplements after we come back from this short musical break. This is still BN with Too Easy, and I hope you guys get to jam on this one. And of course, you can share any quote of the day you have as we get started without wasting much more of the time. I'll be sharing the amazing supplements we have. You also can check out the amazing apparel store we have. Get yourself some hoodie, get yourself some t-shirts, get yourself some beanie, get yourself some sandal with the Black Hot Fire Network logo. But of course, karibuni sana once again. This is BN with Too Easy. Hope you guys get to enjoy. Yes, my quote of the day today says something good or something beautiful happens when you say F it and go all in yourself. When you put yourself first, when you make yourself a priority, when you decide that life can be messy and chaotic and overwhelming, but also beautiful and magical and extraordinary. When you say F it and choose to live your life with gratitude and joy and love, so much love in your heart will be filled. So I hope literally you remind yourself to always put yourself first. As much as you care about other people, always remember to take care of yourself, your health, which is your priority. And as we speak about your health, we say your health is your wealth right here on the Black Hot Fire Network. And we have amazing supplements that actually can benefit you in case you're looking for vitamins, organic, we have them. If you're looking for proteins, amino acids, we have them all, or rather, we got it all. And it all goes at a very affordable price. Just ensure you have the application, the Black Hot Fire Network application. And of course, you can find that on the Google Play Store if you are an Android user. If you're using an iPhone, we have an active website link and it's streaming down below. That is the www.blackhotfirenetwork.com. And check out this amazing supplement. So let me share some brain and focus formula to help you resonate correctly as you get into this conversation and the benefits they come with as you check out the rest that are on the upper.
Unlock your full potential with Brain and Focus, a powerful supplement designed to boost mental clarity, enhance memory, and sharpen concentration. Made from a blend of scientifically proven ingredients like ginkgo biloba, omega-3, and essential vitamins, Brain and Focus is crafted to fuel your mind. Our process ensures maximum potency and effectiveness, delivering the perfect balance of brain-boosting nutrients. Take just one capsule daily, as prescribed by your healthcare provider, and feel the difference. Whether it's powering through your workday or staying sharp in life's challenges, Brain and Focus keeps you at the top of your game. Stay sharp, stay focused, and stay ahead with Brain and Focus. Brain and Focus, fuel your mind, achieve more. Go get this product at blackhotfirenetwork.com at the Sports and Nutrition Store.
Yes, and of course, welcome back. Ensure you get that amazing supplement as you check out the rest. In case you have any questions, we have an active chat over there, and you also have an active email, kcnewsam15@gmail.com. Communicate with us, and you shall get the response of any help or anything you require. But as we get started, of course, like I said, we shall be talking about the carbon credit trade, or rather the carbon emission, and of course, how it is threatening majority of Africans across the continent of Africa. And I have this first video right here before I get into the main one, which we have Yvonne. I can't remember her second name, but she's a very well-known journalist who actually comes to break down a majority of the things that actually probably the citizens are not understanding. Shout out to her. She's been doing an amazing job. But right here, she's feeding us, I don't want to say it's lies mixed with the truth. I'd say lies mixed with the truth, where she's talking about, of course, the carbon credit, how this has been set up in Kenya, rather Africa, what the volunteers, the market, the system, how it is all broken down, the profit, and who's benefiting the most. And being honest, Africans are not benefiting from this, as from the beginning, and majority of the things, Africans don't benefit from. But of course, as we get deeper into it, she shall be exposing, or rather, and their next video I'll be sharing, shall be exposing how Meta, that is the NRT, that is a company that has been set up here. I'll be talking about it as I actually try to break down what it does in Kenya, or rather the African countries it is involved with. Started in 2004, literally, and it has been operating ever since. We have so many people who have lost their lands because of this carbon credit that was signed actually by some presidents, and we had no idea. So let me share this very quickly as we get into it.
To my explainer tonight, as Kenya hosts...
Like I said, caution, this is lies mixed with the truth. So kindly, let nobody get it twisted. If Keith, you're there, you're listening. This is lies mixed with the truth. But I love the fact she breaks things down in a way. Again, the majority of the people, if you're going to pick the truth, if you're going to pick up the lies, that is up to you.
Inaugural climate change summit, there has been much talk about carbon credits and their sale.
Mosquito, karibu sana. We're just getting started right on time.
What are they? Who has them? How and where are they traded? And how do they contribute to reducing the effects of climate change? Well, before we begin, some context is important, right? So it has been agreed that greenhouse gases such as carbon dioxide warm up the atmosphere and, of course, lead to the damaging effects of the atmosphere and the earth, and they limit the earth's ability to cool itself. And this is what leads to the damaging effects on climate that we have witnessed. Ice caps melting, floods, drought.
Big lies, big lies, okay?
And other effects, which is why at the Paris Climate Summit in 2015, 190 nations signed up to the Paris Agreement and committed to reducing their greenhouse gas emissions and limiting the global temperature increase to below 2 degrees Celsius. Now, this historic agreement was actually preceded, in fact, by the Kyoto Protocol of 1997, where it was also decided that a carbon credit proposal was mooted to reduce carbon emissions. Now, later in Marrakesh in Morocco, they spelled out how the system would work. So, now that we have that background, just what are carbon credits? Well, if you take a look at it in some rather simple terms, carbon credits are simply buying permission to pollute. See, if you are a company whose business and production processes are necessarily polluting because of the nature of your business, then you find a place or another country or another company that is doing work to clean the environment. So let's say you cannot avoid polluting where you are. So you pay somebody else, someplace else, who is doing work to reverse the effects of your own actions that are damaging the environment. So you are emitting carbon dioxide into the environment, which we have agreed is all warming up the earth and causing the negative effects we have all witnessed and experienced. But to offset your actions, you are paying someone who is working on removing or absorbing that carbon dioxide from the air.
And just
who has the...
And just to pause on that a little bit, mind you right now, because I woke up in the morning, I'm like, the first thing when I saw the snow, where in some parts of Kenya there's snow, it's raining right now, it's January, of course we're getting to the farming season and all that, but still I feel like with everything happening right now, because it's so many parts of the world we're seeing these different weather effects, this is part of them trying to claim this climate change is really taking place, and we need to put in actions of whatever their agendas of climate change are. Because I feel like all this weather, we were talking about the snow in Florida, other parts of America. We've seen snow in Kenya, which we've never seen this, okay? We've seen the rains. So I feel like this is part of them trying to, of course, use their weather weapons to push the climate change agenda so that they can be implemented. So let me continue. Where am I?
Are simply buying permission to pollute. See, if you are a company whose business and production processes are necessarily polluting because of the nature of your business, then you find a place or another country or another company that is doing work to clean the environment. So let's say you cannot avoid polluting where you are. So you pay somebody else, someplace else, who is doing work to reverse the effects of your own actions that are damaging the environment. So you are emitting carbon dioxide into the environment, which we have agreed is all warming up the earth and causing the negative effects we have all witnessed and experienced. But to offset your actions, you are paying someone who is working on removing or absorbing that carbon dioxide from the air. That person could be doing that through planting trees, which, if you remember our science classes back in primary school, trees absorb carbon dioxide from the air for their own photosynthesis. Or perhaps they could be investing in renewable energy like we're doing here in Kenya. So the next question is, so how much do carbon credits cost? Each permit or carbon credit is equivalent to 1 ton of carbon dioxide that is emitted into the environment. Each company, depending on their size and nature of business, and its determined emissions into the atmosphere, is assigned a number of permits. They can trade these, and also if they do not emit as much carbon dioxide as had been initially estimated, they can sell those permits to others. Now, the World Bank estimates that each ton of carbon dioxide should cost between $40 and $80. This is based on the Paris Climate Agreement. But most of the time, the price is far lower than this. And we shall talk about why the trading system and the pricing is considered particularly problematic by many countries, including Kenya, in a moment.
Very problematic, very problematic. And that's why I started with this video. The explainer who's breaking, I love the way she's breaking it all the way down. And then we're going to go to the video where we're going to see, because they're talking about 1 ton of carbon dioxide costing that is $40 to $80. But who benefits? That's the question. Who's benefiting of this? Is it me, the volunteer? Because that is where she's headed next, trying to explain the market and all that. Who is benefiting?
But first, how does the trade of carbon credits actually work? Well, first, it's important to note that carbon credits are an intangible commodity. The carbon credit system is not as regulated as other markets, and they're traded in what is known as a voluntary market. Secondly, companies don't deal with each other directly. There are companies in between, brokers or middlemen, if you like.
Like they are. Let me just pause on that and just read for you what we have. We have that is the R. It's called the NRT. Sorry, the NRT. That is in full the Northern Rangelands Trust. And of course, they're saying that this is the grassroots aimed at enhancing people's lives, building peace, and conserving the natural environment. The Northern Rangelands Trust is a membership organization owned and led by 45 community conservancies, and it serves in Kenya as well and Uganda. Our NRT was established as a shared resource to help build and develop communities conservancies. But is this really what they are doing? No. So we're going to just stop at that. This is just what Google is giving us, not the truth of the matter of what is happening. As we continue, karibu sana Keith.
Asante sana, Joby. How are you this morning?
I'm a little bit better. Thank you for asking. Ready for the day.
You're a little better? All right.
Yeah. So yeah, we're talking about carbon emission and how Meta and Netflix have been actually stealing lands in Africa in the name of carbon emission. And this is part of course, of the climate change agenda.
It's the climate change scam. It's a lie. It's phony. It's made up. That's how they all these psychopaths and African people. You got to stop following white people. You got to get out of all these European loans because they force you to do it through the IMF and World Bank nonsense. This is correct. This is how they're coming back and stealing lands. African people. Exactly right, Joe.
Mm-hmm. So
and your bootlegs are too dangerous because they're so damn stupid that they're giving away Africa again.
Mm-hmm.
Right.
Very, 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 very dangerous because in the next video I'm gonna share after this one. This is Yvonne. I don't remember her second name, but she's a very good explainer of majority of the things that happen in our country. She's one among the journalists who are threatened to lose their job during the Mandamano, that is the demonstration, when she was questioning the president about the people who disappeared and released even all the list of the names. A video I couldn't find today. But here she's explaining about, of course, the carbon credit. She has broken down the majority of the companies that we have, which, of course, they don't even deal with each other. She's explaining how if I am polluting the environment, who's benefiting from this? But in real sense, and also explain how the World Bank estimated that is 1 ton of carbon emitted or carbon collected, how much should cost or how much I should be paid. And the World Bank estimates this is $40 to $80. And if you actually check the deeper, which is says no one is benefiting from this, especially the Africans themselves. They're not benefiting.
Oh, they never benefit from it, children. They take the more the puppets are in power to make sure shit don't never get better in Africa. And no Africans are uneducated. Keep them stupid. So you keep a population dumb and broke. And so that's how you control them. So it's another made-up scam. Shout out to Trump. Trump has done good and bad. He got us out of them damn fake-ass climate change. It's a lie. It's fake. They came out with this fake shit. Carbon makes the world better, guys, not worse. But you got these psychopaths who are in control of the planet through their fake banking scam. And these morons, these African morons who can't develop anything because they used to steal. These African leaders have never built shit. So how are they in charge of country? Never built any damn thing. Except the only one I know is building something is what? Ibram Toure. That's why he's constantly trying to constantly murder this young man. He's actually building. He's not taking nothing from the World Bank, nothing from the IMF. He paid all that bullshit back. Which you probably, as Africans, you didn't owe none of that shit. Pay it back. He paid it all back. He's not talking in that climate change shit. And I'm not going to do none of it because it's a lie. It's phony.
Exactly. So let me do this video here as she's now explaining, of course, how carbon credits are traded. We have the voluntary, we have the markets, we have the system. And of course, shout out to Byron Scott, who's also joining us. Like I said,
it's a way to make another buying scam they use like Wall Street. Some more buying because it's just everything they do is a scam. It's a fucking lie. It's fake.
One way of understanding this is how we deal with maize in this country, right? The farmer has the commodity, which is maize, and there is a buyer at the other end of the chain, that's at the market. Now we have brokers who get the commodity from the one who owns it. They incur their transportation and storage costs, and then they get that commodity to the buyer who's at the other end. Now, the cost of the broker that the broker bought the maize from at the farmer is not the same cost he will sell it to the one at the market. Similarly, the carbon credit trade system is aligned. It is the companies trading in them that get to decide what the price of the carbon credits will be in an unregulated voluntary market system. And this is what we've been saying is problematic. Many are raising issues with this. This is because the market forces are still skewed to those on the other side of the world. They're the ones who are recognized, certified, and it's according to their standards, not ours. In fact, one rallying call from President Ruto on this has been to find a better way to decide the price. This is his argument. He says, we in this part of the world who are engaging in climate-friendly practices, from growing trees to using renewable energy, are the ones with something to sell. And yet, we're not the ones deciding the price. So his argument has been that we should have a say in the cost of the carbon.
You have any say because you have no power, moron. You have no say because you're a bootlick. You do what you're told. You're a bootlick and you don't have any power. Exactly. They dictate to you what's going to be, and you say yeah because you're a coward and you have no power.
Like she said very well, it's not set according to our terms. Mind you, this meeting was in Paris. So you being a bootlicker, you had to go to Paris, not them coming to you, and you listening and signing documents that literally do not even align with anything to do with your country. So we can't set up, the fact that actually even the setup amount of how I'm supposed to benefit doesn't benefit me. How am I supposed to have a say?
Never does, Joby. It never does. Not meant to benefit you. And to fuck over you like always. Not meant to benefit you.
Credits.
Nothing done by the European to benefit you.
Exactly.
Now, Kenya does in fact have a lot to offer in this trade, though we're one of the smallest polluters in the world, contributing to less than 1% of the world's emissions.
This lady's dangerous too, because that's what she's on that TV. She's talking fucking crazy talk. Kenya does have something to benefit. No, you're supposed to get out of it completely and say this whole thing is garbage. Not that you have something to contribute to it. That it's garbage. It's a scam, and we don't need to be part. None of it. That's what you're supposed to say. Not this shit she's talking about.
Like I said at the beginning, this is truth mixed with the lies for those who start.
Exactly. But they don't know that. That's how propaganda works. She's dangerous. She's a propagandist because she's scared about losing her job. What she's saying now is propaganda. It's simply good.
We've also done quite
some
work in offsetting the effects of the work of others. And that is why in June this year, a group of 16 companies from Saudi Arabia bought more than 2.2 million tons of carbon credits in a Kenyan auction that was billed as the world's largest sale of its kind.
It's all nonsense. Pause that, Joby. So pause that. Some of these companies, Joby, we know all companies in the world are owned by two, three companies called BlackRock, Vanguard, or State Street. Look this up for me, Judge. That's why I said these people are dangerous. She's a propagandist. I don't care what she's done. She's dangerous. What is up, Joby? Say, does BlackRock and Vanguard have ownership in the majority of companies on the planet? What is that? There are no independent company. Like I said, when you see these commercials, what's a better soft drink? Fanta, Coke, Pepsi. It don't matter. They own all of it. What's a better beer? They own all of it. Say, ask Google, does BlackRock and Vanguard own shares in most of the companies on the planet?
So they're saying together Vanguard and BlackRock owns 21% of expenditure GRP, 15% of Bookings Holdings, 27% of America Express, 13% of Boeing, 10% of Airbnb, 16% of TripAdvisor, and many more. As of 2020,
they own all companies. Go ahead, Joe.
At least 3 executives from BlackRock and from BlackRock operate notable positions in President Joe Biden's cabinet. Okay.
And also also now with Trump's cabinet. So we know BlackRock and Vanguard are the Rockefellers of Rothschild. They own all companies on the planet. So these companies, either they got a different name. You say Coke, you'll say Mercedes-Benz, you'll say whatever company it is. You'll see the company name, but you don't know behind the scenes who actually owns that company. Who owns Jaguar? Who owns Chevrolet? Who owns Honda, Toyota? BlackRock owns that shit. So this is some more Rothschild bullshit. They're the ones who made up this carbon credit. Who owns the IMF? Who owns the World Bank? Joby Reddit? Who owns the Federal Reserve? Oh, these private bankers, as Joby read when she was doing the Kennedy assassination. This they shit. And that's the J's. This they shit to steal the world.
So the main reason I started with that video, as much as the documentary I have right here, I was watching yesterday at night when I went home, and I was really interested to do more. I started with that video.
Oh, you never stay. Oh, you never stay up. I thought you were gonna have a rough night, boy. I was worried about you. Go ahead.
Yeah, so I tried to watch something before sleeping. I had to get the painkillers.
All right.
Still had to. But Yvonne was trying to explain, of course, the scam of how it works. I'll call it a scam of how, of course, the climate.
It's a scam.
Yeah, how they're trying to tell us this is beneficial. We need to get rid of the greenhouses. We need to cut down our trees. We need to do this. It is all a scam because this documentary right here is coming from DW, which is also, of course, another propaganda channel. But I want us to listen to the facts of where the local people themselves talking, because we've also had demonstrations, which I didn't even know about it. We had demonstration about these lands. Last Friday, we were talking about in Isiolo, right? In Isiolo, there's some people have been killed because of this
land. Because that carbon, that's exactly.
It is becoming more and more effective to the local people and the indigenous lands, and it needs to be addressed. This needs to be stopped. We need to march back to the streets because literally this is part of some of the things we were demonstrating even back then being signed, or they were passed even with us knowing. Because in this video, you also hear clearly, actually, this stealing of lands started 9 years ago. Meta and Netflix have been here 9 years ago doing all this. So this is now coming in front of our eyes and ears right now. But we had literally this, we're talking about then Uhuru Kenyatta, who was part of signing this.
He's a whole family of puppet shit. You give a nigga a library, he don't know what to do. Whoa, back in the day, his daddy. Whoa, I got a whole library. Whoa, it's fucking moron.
Let me share this video right here. It's a document done by a white guy, but I want us to get the main important thing kindly.
These are Kenya's northern rangelands, dry, dusty, and incredibly vast. For centuries, nomadic herders have migrated seasonally here in search of fresh pastures. But today, the land has become ground zero in the scramble for a new and lucrative natural resource. One that is tearing communities apart. Carbon offsets have become big business here. Western tech companies like Netflix and Meta have invested millions in a project aimed at sucking CO2 from the atmosphere by controlling where and when livestock can graze.
Pause it for a second, Joe. Pause it for a second. So when you say, pause it. Now when you guys say Netflix and Meta, understand Meta and Netflix is owned by Vanguard and BlackRock, okay? It's only, so when they say these names, those names are like front names again because Meta don't own Meta and Netflix don't own Netflix. Owned by the Vanguard and Vanguard and BlackRock. Go ahead, Joe.
Weapons are proliferating across this fragile landscape.
You can be kidnapped or even killed.
Why is this green solution being met with so much opposition? And why are Kenya's carbon dealers so keen on keeping journalists and researchers away?
There's a county criminal investigation officer.
Because these Negroes in Africa are backward and stupid. That's on purpose. So they pay them some money, and they'll do all their evil doings. How the white man comes back in and recolonizes Africa and steals Africa, because the population is dumb as shit. You gotta be honest. Africans are dumb as fuck. So you pay these damn little goofy officials a little bit of money, and the European will be allowed to steal large vast of Africa, steal it again, off some fake climate carbon bullshit. But unfortunately for you, the youth are waking up. There's going to be a reckoning. And I'm going to be on that. It's going to be a reckoning. A lot of you motherfuckers are not going to survive. And that's what it's got to be. Because you've helped the criminals come back in and re-steal African lands from African people. It's the recolonization of Africa. Because Africa is the wealthiest continent on the planet. See, they're never going to leave Africa alone. Why are they doing their carbon credit shit in goddamn South America? South America is still underdeveloped too, but it's not as rich as Africa. That's why. Right, Joe.
Today's complete. You might expose some confidential matters outside.
But why are Netflix and Meta investing here in the first place? Because they emit a lot of CO2, and they want to make up for that, far, far away from their headquarters, by buying carbon offsets all around the world, including here in Kenya. The Northern Kenya Rangelands Carbon Project says it's the largest of its kind on the planet, covering an area the size of New Jersey or Slovenia. The scheme claims to remove CO2 from the atmosphere and bind it to the soil.
They stole land in Kenya, the same Kenya, a big country, the size of the state of New Jersey, where my goofy brother lives. What?
Yeah.
They stolen that. Oh my God! You know how much land that is? That's my and this dumbass Uhuru Kenya African people. People, I'm telling you, you gotta educate the African. This is just crazy. You morons decided it's better that you keep them stupid so you can stay in power. You're dangerously wicked. You're dangerously wicked. Wow.
Known as planned rotational grazing. The idea is that keeping livestock off of certain swaths of pasture will allow grass to grow and store more carbon from the atmosphere.
This sounds very nonsensical. Like
it is nonsense. It is nonsensical, Joe. But you see, they never happened before in history before the white man showed up in Africa. Never. It is nonsensical, Joby. That's right.
I grew up taking cows to graze, and grass will still grow. What do you mean keeping cows?
They're saying it because they need to. That's to stop the carbon. Joby, what they're trying to do is depopulate the planet. It's all scams and stupid shit. It's about your air. You breathe air is a problem. These are psychopaths, Joby. They're psychopaths. Super psychopaths.
Crazy.
It's meant to reduce overgrazing and give grasslands time to recover. The project promises to sequester the equivalent annual carbon output of 10 million cars in its first 3 decades, and was launched in 2012 by the Northern Rangelands Trust, or NRT. Co-founded by the descendant of an old colonial ranching family, the organization has been consolidated.
Old colonial ranching family for some crackle stoves act from African people. Man, if you don't get out of here with that goofy shit.
Handed to conservancies for more than 20 years. It's a form of land use that combines tourism, livestock production, and wildlife conservation. 14 of these conservancies are taking part in the carbon project under the NRT's banner. The offsets produced by managing these livestock migrations have been sold the world over. Netflix and Meta alone had purchased more than 250,000 tons of the project's carbon offsets by 2022.
See, they get your real resources. What does Meta produce? Nothing. That's some shit. How's the motherfucker been on phone on some Facebook shit worth any money? It's not. How's somebody looking at some goofy videos on Netflix worth some money? It's not. And they get to buy your real shit, your real resources. It's always some scam shit going on. They get your real live stuff that's actually real in the world while they selling you shit that ain't even real in the world. If I don't got no phone or no computer, there's no goddamn Netflix or no stupid goofy ass Meta. But you buy my real stuff for fake shit. That's how it works. It's fake money for your real shit every time.
Francis Baha. Many of these.
Let me see.
These livestock migrations have been.
That's why all these African countries have got to get. Shout out to Ibram Toure. Cool. Don't be scared of the word cool. All these leaders have got to be cool. Don't be scared, Africans, of the word cool. Don't listen to that goofy ass Judas Malina. He's been finally caught. That fake ass South African Negro, that phony ass puppet. As I said he was. Don't be afraid. Cool's got to be in your damn vocabulary.
Exactly. So we have this man right here is one of the people working for the NRT. Of course, these are sellout right here.
Of course. He probably know what the hell's even going on because he's stupid. Go ahead, Joey.
Probably. I thought so too. He was just explained what to explain if asked.
Exactly. He's a moron. He's a moron who they paying. Those I get my daily bread. He's a moron.
They oversee how many animals are allowed onto a given plot of community land over the course of a grazing season, and make reports to calculate the amount of CO2 this helps absorb.
We are participating in Northern Rangeland Carbon Project as a conservancy, and the type of carbon, we call it soil carbon. By using rotational or grazing, that coordinated grazing, that grass also stored CO2 from the atmosphere. And
you gotta teach this idiot. He don't know what the fuck he's talking about. He's a moron. They just teach him the talking points. He just regurgitates it. He doesn't know if it's valid or not. He said, yeah, you take the carbon and you regurgitate the grass, and that's how you stop the carbon. What's carbon, dummy? How's it affect the environment, and how's it detrimental to the environment? I don't know. You switch the carbon, you do the carbon, and you switch the grass. See, they get some moron like this and just regurgitate the dumb shit. He's an idiot. And he just regurgitates what the white people told his ass.
True.
He doesn't know. Go ahead, Joe.
That's what I saw too when I was looking at him. I'm like, man, you just been given words and money to talk. If in case you talk about this is how you're gonna break it down. But you have no goddamn clue what these people are doing to your community, to your land. You have
no clue. Exactly, Joe.
Giving you, so you think you have it all, but you're losing.
He doesn't know, Joe. He's a moron. He's been told, so they're paying him. You know, that's why it's dangerous that you haven't built jobs in Africa. That's another dangerous thing. If people are scrambling to survive, and you'll do anything to survive. You don't know enough, as it calls sophisticated. You're not sophisticated enough to know that you're even hurting your own people because you're too stupid. You're too dumb. Because you're not sophisticated enough. No, you're living hand to mouth. Somebody come give you a job. Hey, you're going to give you a job, and you're going to talk about carbon. Carbon, what's that? You're going to talk about the grasslands. This is what you're going to say. Okay. Shit. I'm getting paid every 2 weeks or once a month. Well, I forgot. Europeans don't pay the African shit. You get paid once a month, but you're getting paid something. Go ahead, Joe.
That revenue goes to paying the salaries of Conservancy staff like Francis, as well as helping to fund community projects like wells and schools. The NRT and coordinators like Francis insist the process is participatory and transparent.
We have board of directors, and they are elected by the community. We go to them and tell, this is the right time now we start to think about grazing planning. Where do you want us to take our livestock? They discuss and agree, and they give us a list. So the Conservancy now supports. We are not restricting livestock. We try to support the elders to do traditional grazing, but in a modern way, or in a way that is...
And this makes Africa so dangerous because it's so ignorant. The African is so fucking stupid, so ignorant. I'm African, I love them. This would make me mad when I was around Kenya, Ghana. The ignorance level is on. I knew it was bad, but not this bad. I didn't know how bad it is. You can't defend yourself from global predators when your people are this stupid. You can't defend yourself.
You know,
because you don't. Go ahead, Joey.
In these regions, because this is the least places actually where there's
access to
schools.
Of course, Joey. That's not that exactly. That's all because not just that. Right. not just happening in Kenya. It's not just Kenya. It's all rural areas in Africa. Nigeria, you'll find it in Nigeria, Ghana, Zimbabwe. It's not just Kenya that is showing Kenya. It's all throughout Africa. Go ahead, Joe.
Because I'm certain if I'm gonna do more research and see if they're also maybe affecting or they have gotten into the western parts of Kenya, because I know the western parts of Kenya people are really, really brutal. This is the least educated people in Kenya, so this is why they are easily taken.
That's why they're there. Exactly.
They don't even have access of food and water, so they are easily exploited. Hey, you got a few dollars today, you can eat. You can be living good, and you're gonna accept. That is.
Of course you will. Of course, because the African governments have failed their people. Africa has failed its people. The Africa has failed its people. No matter what country you are, they have failed. These puppets, they failed on. You won't even call it failure because really, they failed on purpose. Because that's what the Europeans want. That's why Uganda's a failure. That's why Central African Republic's a failure. But Congo's a failure. They've all failed. That's on purpose. Okay, I get stuff done on purpose. Go ahead.
So theoretically, big companies in the global north get to take their emissions off their books, and local people in the global south benefit from the money invested. Community control with no coercive restrictions.
They don't benefit at all because that means Africa never gets to develop. Africa never gets to develop because they must keep the carbon shit. So Africa never gets to build factories and manufacture. White people get to steal those lands, and Africa stays backward and poor. So how's it beneficial? What's he talking about? Go ahead, Joe.
Sounds pretty great. But the reality on the ground is not so simple. Lamako Charo has been traveling for 2 days with his camels across the wilderness. He says grazing boundaries imposed by the carbon project's implementers have forced him to come north in search of pasture.
Okay, great.
Since life is hard, grass is getting scarce and more scarce, we are forced to migrate.
Of course.
Sometimes they count battles and die along their way.
And this is how dangerous the African leaders are. They're so fucked up in their head. They're so selfish. They don't care. And we know that about Africa. That's why they're there. African leaders are so fucked up. And as long as they get their little chai, they destroy the whole country for everybody. They don't care about this man. They don't care about this man. Nothing at all. As long as they got their little chai and they destroy it, and they keep Africa back. That's why they always running to other countries with their rice bowl in hand, begging all the time. They don't know how to build shit. They don't know how to do shit. They're backward as hell. They don't say, Ibrahim's 35 years old. Why does a young man doesn't go to anybody's country begging with a bowl in hand? Go ahead, Joe.
He's independent because he's building shit.
He's actually independent. He's not a bootlicking coon. Now he's building cars in Bikini Faso. I'm like, what? That's how you get, building cars himself. Because the rest, that's why they kill him. That's why they want to kill him, because they want Africa to be like this man. Stupid. They want Africa to be like this gentleman here. Backward and stupid. Go ahead, Joe.
We wanted to see these fences for ourselves. So the next day, our team sets off for Sarah Conservancy, where herders tell us a well-fortified barrier is blocking pastoralists from the pasture that their animals crave. We are blocked by the same rangers that the herders warned us about. Though they're not employed by any government security service, they do carry weapons. They question our team and invite us to tour their Conservancy headquarters, but tell us that we are not allowed to go any further. So we hike along their perimeter to a distant hilltop instead, looking for a place to launch our drone. It reveals exactly what the herders spoke of, a long metal fence stretching for miles across the expansive wilderness. We asked the NRT. They said this fence is an anti-poaching measure aimed at rhino conservation, but maps we filmed inside the Conservancy's offices show that land within the fence is included in the carbon project's grazing blocks. And analysis of satellite imaging shows that vegetation inside the fence line is indeed greener and more lush than the comparatively parched landscape without. This imaging technique is called the Normalized Vegetative Difference Index. In 2023, the same tool revealed that much of the carbon project's self-reported CO2 reductions were not matching up with the vegetation changes on the ground. Concerns like these led to Vera, the world's largest verifier.
Now you ask yourself, like Joby said, why are you implementing shit from Europe? Why are you doing what Europeans are telling you to do? Why are you always implementing shit from Europe? Why? Why are you always implementing European policies in Africa if you're supposedly independent? Oh, but none of this nonsense is going on in Europe. None of this bullshit here is going on in France, England, Germany, Spain, the Netherlands, Nova Scotia, Scandinavia, none of that shit. But in Africa, all the fucking time. That's why you gotta coup these leaders.
Suspending its certification of the project's credits. The certification was later reissued.
All these old crackpot schemes always in Africa.
Issues of methodological
over and over again.
And raised serious legal questions. In order to be considered valid for commercial use, Vera requires land-based carbon offset projects.
And anybody, Meta and Netflix are American companies. Why they not doing none of that shit in America? You know why? Because the cracker would start killing people. Why they not putting none of that shit in America? Grazing land and all that shit. America's got land where nobody's even in it. I've been all around America. You got big grazing land in America, but nobody's even in it. Why if they took the land here? You know why? Crackers start killing people. He's not gonna be like the African. Oh, I don't know what's going on. Oh, what's happening? Oh, what's happening? I said, nah. What's this government come with? Netflix? Better taking land over here? Nah, we're not gonna allow that shit at all. What's happening in America? Why is it always in Africa?
Exactly. A good question that actually we should start asking ourselves. Why is it that it's always Africa? Why wouldn't they go to their lands? You go do that nonsense. Go find a land where you can do all this bullshit.
Go put that shit in your own. Go get that bullshit in your own country.
It's crazy, man.
Or an informed consent of residents. The NRT says they held meetings with community members to explain their plans, like those shown in these promotional videos, and posted brochures on notice boards. But residents that we spoke to complained that low literacy rates, high mobility, and
literacy, because they're all stupid. And that's the government's fault. They're all stupid. And that's on purpose. You control the people when they're stupid and poor. So and that's on purpose. Don't think that these people are stupid because they want to be. They're stupid because it benefits the governments. Understand that? That's why Africa's been left so far behind. In elections, that's why the Europeans never really educated the African when they got control of Africa. They kept them stupid for control. The literacy, like they don't know what even when people talking to them, they don't know the fuck they talking about. You know, the carbon, what's that? Well, it's a made up thing that you can't see. Well, what? Yeah, and it's in the air. And we gotta take your land because it's in the air. What?
That low literacy rates, high mobility, and limited access to mass media among nomads rendered many of these efforts.
For herders to understand carbon credits, photosynthesis, all that story is not easy for them. Right. But we are trying to make it simple.
You don't understand it, moron. You don't understand it. Carbon credits and photosynthesis. You don't even understand it. I'm listening to you. You sound stupid as shit.
This is why he's among chosen, because he has maybe a little bit. I'll say a little bit.
Of course.
His English is a little bit understandable. Majority of the people in this local community can't even speak Swahili, leave alone English. They're speaking their local languages.
So they're easily exploited. This why tribalism is so dangerous in Africa. You tribal niggas, you're dangerous. Because you'll look at those people who are you, oh, that's a different tribe. They have to do, I don't need to educate them because they're not part of my tribe and all that bullshit. That means you make people easily exploitable. You make people easily exploitable for Europeans because you're easily exploitable because you're stupid too. But you make them even more exploitable because you're tribal. You're backward. That's why that tribal shit is dangerous. Instead of seeing them as your African brother that you must do stuff for, build schools, make sure they're educated, you say, no, that's not my tribe. Go ahead, Joe.
Interview did not know that carbon offsets were being generated on their land. Those who did said they only heard about the project 9 years after it had already begun, when proceeds started being generated for the conservancies.
They already started in Africa 12 years ago before they even started anything. I didn't even know it was this bad. 12 years, they just started talking about the shit. But they said they're going to do it 10 years. They've already started in Africa 12, 15 years ago. What? They wasn't even goddamn a law yet. Nah, we can still laugh at these dumb niggas again. God damn! This is crazy.
23 review of the project.
That's why the Uhuru family has got to be. Family, when you have Revolution Africa, all these fucking families that the Europeans made rich, you must strip all their wealth, all their land from them. It's all illegal. It's all criminal. And whatever white people tell them to do, they do it. This is criminal.
That's true.
I know it went back this. Wow, I know it went back this far. This is crazy talk.
Of how the project was communicated to communities. So, if indigenous residents were not asked for their permission to extract and market carbon offsets, whose consent was given?
Exactly, whose consent was given?
Says their authority to sell carbon credits comes from the conservancies themselves, entities that they helped establish across millions of acres of indigenous lands. But an ongoing lawsuit disputes this.
It's Yolo County. This is where we saw on Friday people being shot because of their lands.
And you can't, and lawsuit, you can't get, and nothing, your whole law system, the system of justice is built by the European. So there's no justice. Their whole court system's got to be changed out in Kenya and throughout Africa. That's their system. They don't work for African people. You should have been torn down and said, you got niggas to run around with goofy wigs on their head. How about you get justice in a system where you got a moron with a fucking white wig on? That's their system.
His Community Lands Act, and alleging that the NRT's establishment of conservancies on this land was unconstitutional.
Most of
course it was.
Purported agreement were not subjected to public participation.
Of course it was. That was the Uhuru family. That's exactly. They got with the Uhuru family. So we're going to give you niggas money and you're going to do what we tell you to do because we put you in power. We put your dumb ass daddy in power. We put your ass in power. And you do what the fuck you're told to do. See, your people too stupid know we own you. They knew, they know now. But back then they're still too dumb to know you work for us. We want that land, and you're going to give it to us. Okay, master. Okay, white daddy. I go do it. We know you're going to do it.
Aka has spent years as an advocate at Kenya's High Court. He is lead counsel on the case. His clients allege that the conservancies NRT is using to produce the carbon offsets were established without consent.
Of course they were.
Private entities that have come to community land and they have established conservancies and other activities in the community.
Without nobody's permission, exactly.
Expense of
you
the community.
Exactly, you can't. He's right. You can't commit, but they know they can do that because they know those people were ignorant. The Uhuru family knew those people were ignorant, and the white people want that land, and they just did it without They didn't educate these people about what was going on. They just went and did it. They just went and did it.
Anything filed that indicated that indeed these community members our clients who are involved. Yet these conservancies are established in their community,
in the community. Exactly. Exactly. They weren't even involved in the shit that it's established in the community, but they weren't even involved in the shit. And now saying they got the right to take their land when they weren't even involved in the decision making. It's all illegal because it's based on graft and ignorance. See, that's what I told you. These puppets are dangerous as fuck. They're dangerous. And so you must understand, cool motherfucker. They don't care. They're all criminal. The idea you can come and just steal somebody's land because you're a puppet, you got to go. Africa can no longer be ruled like this no more. Can't be accepted no more. The big head nigga syndrome, you're gonna get cool.
We even went to court because it's our opinion that there is no legal basis.
Exactly.
We approached the about the case, but they declined to comment. While the legality of the conservancies is being debated in court,
they're illegal. But it doesn't matter because you're going through their legal system. It's illegal. I said it, but it's illegal as shit. That's because I got one year law school. I know legality. It's illegal as shit. Not knowing nobody accepted this. This was a deal made between white people and the puppets in the government. Sure. And they just did it. And then when the guy said it went back 12 years ago, I'm like, what? All this shit is illegal.
Escapes where they have been established through force of arms is very much a reality. Solomon Limpatu does not know what a carbon credit is.
Exactly.
He's never heard of it.
I told you. Of course he doesn't know. They told, it's an invisible thing. It's in the air. What?
They don't know, but his father was shot in the head.
His father was shot dead for grazing the family's animals in the wrong place, and that he watched it happen.
So the land was taken. So it's supposed to be protecting the community. Then it's not. Oh, the community is about protecting the community. But if the community goes on land, they get shot in the head. It's not. It's for white people to steal shit again. Okay? It's the Europeans to steal shit again and give it to them by your moronic, criminal-ass governments. Go ahead, Joe.
Basi hapo ni mbaya kuingiza ng'ombe. So mimi nikaenda tu sijui kitu. Sijui hapa ni mbaya nini.
Saying for him because they are not educated and they were not approached about the carbon emission or the carbon credit. He was raised with his father and he didn't know there were limits.
Nikaingiza tu ng'ombe. Mimi nilikuwa tunafuatana na ng'ombe, baraka tu mimi niko tu kwa ng'ombe. Sijui nilikuwa mdogo. So vile buda msa alikuja akakuta ng'ombe.
He's going back to what I said. Son, you're not educated on purpose. Son, you're not educated on purpose. So you don't know what they did, they came into the land grab, son. They came and just stole your shit and then naming some fake carbon credit shit that doesn't even exist. It's a lie. And your moronic ass puppet leaders from Jomo, because your country's always been corrupt, son. Let me teach you something. Your country from its inception would put puppets, not the people that fought for Kenya, they put the puppets in there. And every government you had from Jomo, and that's all African countries, have been puppets of the Europeans. Okay? I don't care if you're in Ghana, Burkina Faso, or they'll throw them overthrow them. All Africa has been set up like this. That's why you face, and even in a place where you got good education, they make sure they give you school fees so you can't afford to even pay the shit because nobody has no jobs. But it's the government's responsibility to educate its people, because you can't have a functional democracy or a republic with dumb people. It don't work because you're too dumb to know what the fuck is going on. So it's the government's responsibility, and everybody knows this, to educate its people to keep a democracy going. They must be educated. Unless you got what Africa is now, a fake democracy, where you're shooting and kidnapping people because the people don't know what democracy even is. They're too uneducated. You can't have a democracy with dumbass people. Everybody knows that. That's known around the world. If your people are uneducated, you can't have a constitutional republic or a democracy because the people are too stupid to keep it going. They're too dumb. And then you have dictatorship. And that's what they really have at. That's what they really want. Dictatorship. Because democracies and republics, you must be educated. He tells you, I don't know what the fuck is going on. I don't know what this carbon is. Go ahead, Joe. Go ahead, Joe.
And mind you, this is actually at Christine's home, this YOLO. This is Christine's home too.
Wow, that's what Christine lives. Wow. It's not about Christine, okay.
Yeah, so I'm gonna ask. I don't know if they are affected, but
well, tell her come out from the back. Let's ask Christine now. Tell her come up from the back.
Okay, just a minute.
Pia kurudisha hiyo side ya si hawataki basi wale wakafika before hata waongee basi ni
Tell her come up from the back office, Christine. Let's ask you a question.
Ajali kapigwa mzee basi ikaenda tifu.
His mother, Noakilelu, has had to grapple with the consequences ever since.
Wala na ko na ino kora bago somne kata ne chinyi anya si na dua ke meto na ramata kada yo na ge kunyi nyingara ne kada amana de ne na ngo jit.
All right, here she is.
What's going on, Christine?
Hi, kid.
How you doing? We want to ask you some questions, Christine, about where your home county.
We're talking about and I'm a video of Isiolo County of where people have been affected. Okay. And the question is, are you affected? Are you guys affected?
Of course, we are.
You are? How?
But tell us, Christine, kindly tell us what's going on up there. Let us know.
She says she's not ready for the conversation, so...
She said she what?
She's not ready for the conversation.
Christine, we just want to ask some questions.
Nah, she says it's too much for her right now to speak about it.
It's too much? Is that bad? I don't know, Christine, is that bad?
Yeah, it's that bad.
All right. Well, all right, Christine.
People are demonstrating about it, actually.
But that's good. That's a good thing because those lands are being stolen by the Europeans.
Yeah.
That's a good thing, Christine.
It's a good thing.
Yes.
At least they're showing accountability.
Yes.
Yeah.
Yes.
You know.
All right, Christine. See, that's the African mindset. You give them a talk, they scared. I don't want to talk about, I'm gone. Christine, I need you to be a warrior, goddammit.
Armed enforcement of the NRT's grazing regime has changed their lives forever.
I mean, see, as I told you, Joby is rare in Africa. There's not enough Jobies in Africa. That's always the problem.
Is nothing new. Human rights organizations and researchers have documented dozens of extrajudicial killings of pastoralists in conservation areas throughout Kenya's north, including on territory managed by the NRT.
Many people have been killed because you're arming people without the regulation of government. These armed rangers, for example, prevent
so the government. So what he's saying, the government has plausible deniability. He's telling us it's not our fault. It's not a government thing because the white people have stolen that land and have equipped these people with guns. It means the whole system is corrupt. The whole system is illegal. The whole system is illegal. Because it gives the government plausible deniability. Because the government said, we don't pay these people. It's the white people, it's the companies that have stolen this land, set up these systems, and armed these fucking morons against their own people. Wow, it's crazy. You don't see this happening fucking Arabia. What's happening? Happening in the Middle East. Because ain't nobody gonna allow no shit like this. Only in Africa, we gonna keep people this ignorant and this backward and stupid and this starving. You ain't gonna spot. You're not gonna find this shit right here nowhere on the planet. Because nowhere else on the planet has anybody been made this ignorant. And they figured the African is still docile. Dr. Christine Lovin, the Africans docile. We'll go back in and start stealing their shit again. They're docile and stupid. And that's what we're gonna do.
Let me continue as we get closer to winding up with this.
Certain areas, and we have people who have to, leave their cultural sites, their
criminal
cultural practices, and have to move to other areas. So this brings human rights issues.
We want to understand how the Rangers do their job firsthand, and are invited by the staff and elders of Malacca Conservancy to visit their ranger station and meet with the people tasked with enforcing grazing rules. But as we head to the filming location, our team learns that the NRT's appointed managers have other ideas.
They're not grazing rules. They're not grazing rules because the government hasn't enforced that. So this is all illegal. They're not grazing rules by anybody in the Kenyan government. So it's illegal. I'm tearing all this shit down. Tearing all of this shit down. All of it. It's illegal. Kenya, somebody got paid to put all this bullshit up there for white people. I'm tearing it all down. All of it. All in Africa, you get this crazy shit like this.
Chairman, authority.
Shit, that's just unbelievable. This shit's unbelievable.
If a visitor comes to my office,
yes,
I must be given an email from NRT.
From NRT. Sir, thank you very much. Yeah.
So imagine that. They're saying that the Conservancy is community controlled.
Yes.
That the board of
community had nothing to do with it.
The council of elders are elected.
It's community control, but the community ain't got shit to do with it. It's all about
the ones in charge of this place and in charge of the rangelands management. We have direct permission from Zaido Kole, who is the chairman of the board. He's the one who supposedly has the authority from the community to govern the affairs of the Conservancy. And although he's encouraging us to go and document this, we're being told by the NRT that the NRT needs to grant permission before any photos can be taken.
Of course, because it's fake. Because the community doesn't control shit. The white people, it's all smoke and mirrors bullshit. That's for the face of it. Oh, it's the community. We went to the community control. The community doesn't control a goddamn thing. Yep. It's this fake NRT set up by white people in Europe and America that controls it. And it's illegal. It's illegal because the government didn't have the right to just steal these people's land without.
I think we lost Keith.
I'm still here.
Oh, okay. I think we lost you for a minute, but yeah.
Contradiction. This is a contradiction. So I'm wondering.
There's a contradiction. It means it's criminal. It's not a contradiction. It's criminal. It's contradiction. Yeah, it's a lie. It's a contradiction because
DCI. Department of Criminal Investigations?
Yeah.
Hello, good morning.
Morning.
Department of Criminal Investigation. Just called them because they wanted to go take photos. Now the DCI has been informed. We have some journalists trying to come in and investigate how we operate. The whole DCI, like
County Criminal Investigation Officer. I'm in charge of investigations.
Yes.
Yeah, somebody has
investigate. If you are really in charge of investigation, you should be in charge. You should investigate NRT. You should investigate who signed.
Of course, but they've been giving bribes, Joby. Africa's poor, so I'm gonna get these morons and corrupt. All you gotta do is give a bribe. You want your daily bowl of rice? Yes, I do. My daily bowl of ugali? Yes. So take this bribe and shut up, nigga.
It's a complaint.
Tell me.
Many of the conservatives is complaining. Are you from Luchville?
Yes, sir.
Okay, he's saying you might expose some confidential matters outside.
Is that right? So we've received a call from the Director of Criminal Investigations. This is despite the fact that we've come at the invitation of the Chairman of the Board of Elders. This tells me that what we've been told about who is in charge of this land and the management of its rangelands is not matching up with what we're experiencing on the ground.
With the NRT,
of course not. That's what I told you. That's just a scam. Oh, this is by the elders and the people up in the community. Shut your fucking mind. I told you when Joey first started showing this shit, this is a scam. This is a lie. They're not gonna get no community, no power to do a motherfucking thing. Right, Joe.
With the community's elected elders instead. Wilfred Longley was chair of Malacca Conservancy's board from 2013 to 2016, when the Carbon Project began. He
2013, it always started in Africa. 2013, it always started in Africa. This is mind-blowing. That's fucking 12 years ago.
Want to show us what has become one of the Conservancy's projects since Wilfred's tenure. This was once a luxury destination for international tourists, keen for an African safari experience. Though this construction predates the arrival of Carbon Project funds, at least 6 similar lodges have been built or renovated using carbon credit proceeds, including one that overlooks the grazing boundary where Solomon saw his father shot. Today, this lodge in Malacca is a burnt-out husk, consumed by a mysterious fire in 2022. Just as we are setting up to receive his testimony, Wilfred's phone rings.
Tell him to shut his mouth.
Yeah.
Ashida mother Ashida. Yeah. Mareka jogi.
You better not say nothing. We're gonna put a bullet in your head, Dada Didi. A bullet in your head.
That's what they're telling him. They're telling him, do not talk to those people. What are you talking to them? And he's asking, what's the issue? What's the issue?
The issue that you know, this is all issue you didn't know, old man. This is all criminal. You've been uneducated. White people have come and stolen your land, and these other niggas are puppets because they're getting paid. This is all illegal, and your government is pretend like they don't got nothing to do with it. So it's a plausible deniability. So no one, some people just say, who's in charge around here? I'm like, who the fuck is in charge then? It ain't this fake county of elders bullshit. Who's running this shit? And I'm gonna tell you, it's called the World Bank, IMF, the Rockefellers, the Rothschilds run that shit. Go ahead.
Marakabuitere means skiza. Sasa sunasikia vile ana threaten mimi. He's threatening me.
Threatening you for what?
Alisema kwa nini wanapeleka wageni huko? Na hakuna barua ya kutoka NRT.
After the phone call, Wilfred insists the fire was an accident. Rangers from a nearby camp quickly appear, and we are told to stop our filming.
You asking me who told you to take them here? I don't know how. And then I told him, how did you know that we are here?
Because, it's a scam. It's not, the scam is being revealed. This is illegal.
Night
has stealing of African land.
Local youth tell us that someone has been by to record the color and license plate number of our team's vehicle. One of the youngsters passes us a handwritten note before disappearing back into the crowd. The banda's burning, they say, was no accident. One by one, under cover of darkness, they come forward to speak.
Yeah, they burned all that shit down. Exactly.
No accident. They burned all the human hands.
They burned all those reservations down because of. Yeah, they burned all them reservations down. All the reservations they burned down to the ground. So where tourists would go at, because this is a land grab. It's a land grab. Illegal, a land grab. Sponsored by the corrupt motherfuckers down in Nairobi. It's a land grab. So they burnt all that shit. Get rid of all that shit. Get all that shit out of here.
This call not to send any money here again. Our leaders are misusing that money. Our fathers, mothers, elders, our illiterate people. Nobody knows about carbon.
Illiterate.
They've heard about carbon, but they don't know what that is. I want you to change my voice and hide my face, so our leaders will not know who I am. They can look after you. They might take you into court, or even you can be kidnapped, or even killed.
Yeah. Because this is how criminal. Goes back. I know it goes back to Nairobi. This is so criminal. And like I said, I know these people. This is how Africa works. On the illiterate, they keep people stupid as fuck. On first, they don't know what fucking carbon is. Carbon, what is that? Well, we're gonna take some of the land to make things healthy.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah, that what you gonna do? Yeah. Why? Yeah.
Mm-hmm.
So it's theft, guys. It's the white man coming back stealing again and using the government officials who are criminal. Shout out to Ibn Toure, who fired his whole goddamn government. Fired all you motherfuckers, because this is all of Africa. The European made sure Africa is now corrupt. That's why I said all these government officials, try them, and you gotta execute their ass. I'm keeping them 100, because you can't change them. You gotta start with new people who are not subject to corruption. All of Africa, like I said, and that's what I want you to know, other Africans. This is all of Africa. Black Africa, anyway. This ain't just Kenya. It's all of Africa.
Sure.
Ain't just Kenya.
Sure.
Go ahead, Joby.
Yeah, let me wrap it up. Let me wrap this video as we go through the comments. Shout to Jiba Jaba, Byron Scott, to everyone who's with us in the house. Hope you guys are doing great.
Shout out to you, Christine. Police coming out. And you probably scared. You probably scared because they like they do. You probably scared because they say, hey, you shut up.
Themselves and the conservancies they helped establish was concluded nearly a decade after carbon credits were already being produced and sold. Abdirahman Osman Dida is one of the plaintiffs. Today, he's traveled over 500 kilometers from his home in the arid northern rangelands to
It wasn't even a law yet. They put this shit in Africa. This wasn't, they were only talking about this shit. And they still in Africa. I said, what? 2013? But I was telling people, they thought I was joking. They'd already implemented that shit in Africa. I had no idea. I said, this is what they tried to do. This is a scam, the new scam. They'd already put it in Africa. People thought I was joking about it. And I was a conspiracy nut. And they'd already put it in goddamn Africa already. Go ahead, Joker.
Of other residents of NRT conservancies, he wants to personally deliver a petition to Kenya's parliament, demanding that their rights as the constitutionally recognized owners of community lands be upheld.
Exactly. Oh. They're not gonna do it. They're not gonna. I'm gonna tell you, Africans, you singing and that MLK shit, that don't work. Your governments are all corrupt and fucked up. They pay. They don't give a fuck about you. So it's going to have to be a coup. All that singing and all that shit, they don't give a fuck about none of that. Them singing songs, holding hands, and doing the right thing. No, they're not gonna do the right thing. They're corrupt. So you're gonna have to get rid of their ass out of office and go back and take your shit. You got to take it. Because that belongs to you. You got to take it.
Mm-hmm. Yeah.
Because it was taken from you. And when that man got that call, hey, you better shut your mouth. Shut up, goddammit.
As we wrap up today's episode of the Pan-African Bully Show, man, I'm so
read the comments.
Yeah, I'm going to read the comments. I'm just saying I'm glad personally to see at least we had people, of course, after them getting informed about this, what is happening in their community. They even traveled all the way from Isiolo, because it's kind of far. I'm not sure. I think 4 hours. Not really sure, but traveling all the way to come to Nairobi to call up, for their rights to
protest.
Yeah, it is amazing to see. At least they're not sitting back and just watching it all happen. There's someone, at least 1 to 3 people who are educating the rest so that they can actually, of course, also join.
That's what you do. You educate the rest, Joby. So that's how so you being stupid now. That's how politics work. This is political. The lands are stolen politics. It's all about politics. I don't be involved in politics. I don't know. then you're stupid. And this what happens to your ass.
You need to be very involved. But shout out to Byron Scott once again. He said earlier that this is just another instrument to extract wealth from the poor. That is
exactly
true.
Exactly what it is.
They own all the large food companies and are trying to purchase all of the farmland on the planet. It's crazy.
On the planet. Exactly right. On the planet. Yeah, Joe, but they want all of it.
Yeah, I know that. Shout out to George Guy Karibu Sana. He also says Africa is under trauma. Well, I hope we're gonna be over the trauma and start fighting. We need to get rid of the trauma, man. After trauma, you gain confidence. So we can't keep on dwelling on the trauma. We can't keep on. We need to gain the confidence now, lose the fear, and understand that our trauma is being used as a weapon or a sign of our weakness. Which we portray to the world. So we need to actually, teach each other how to gain confidence, to stand by the truth. Because we're taught again in Africa, politics is none of your business. You see, like the way they're threatening that guy. Now that guy is gonna back. He backed off and started lying, and that's the fear that has been always promoted.
Of course, exactly. That's how it works. Exactly, Joe. Because you don't live in democracy, you live in fiefdoms in Africa. They're like I said, the contradiction that these are democracies. These are republics. They're not. They're criminal organizations set up by the Europeans to benefit a few people at the top and keep Europe happy. As Byron said. Is the transfer of wealth from Africa to Europeans. Always.
It's crazy. And also George also said it puts fleas in a closed jar for 3 days. When you open it, the fleas will never leave. And also says if you put the fleas in a closed jar, I think that's what you meant. If you put the fleas in a closed jar for 3 days, when you open it, the fleas will never leave. I get what you're saying. That is basically the white people. And I also see Jiba in the building once again. Karibu, KW Don, nice to see you this morning. He says Canada has a carbon tax too. I think that's what you say.
I know it's big as that they all do, but you don't see no lands being siphoned off in Canada. Biggest Canada is exactly all they all playing that carbon credit shit. But the lands are always in Africa. They're not finding land in no fucking Canada to offset shit. Go ahead.
Shout to Jiba Jaba. He says, as Ibrahim Traore has spoken again, tribal division in Africa. I've not heard of him talking about.
Yeah. He did. He said the tribal shit gotta go. Said we can't afford this. Yeah. He said, Africa we're one people.
Yeah.
He told you these borders are fake. All the same history. We're all one people. We moved around. So because we got colonized, somebody could have been from what they call Kenyan era when they got colonized, been in Burkina Faso. Now is he Burkina Faso or is he Kenyan now? Right? Because we moved around freely throughout Africa. There were no borders.
And he's expressing that. This is him in Tanzania. That was yesterday. Launch of Africa.
Who's in Tanzania?
Ibrahim Traore. See, people were so.
Wait. Ibrahim Traore went to Tanzania yesterday?
Yeah.
That was shows. I didn't know he went to Tanzania. Yeah, because Africa, that's why you want people. Africa's dying for a decent leader.
Exactly. That is the video being shown over there when he arrived.
We're going to show us. I didn't know he showed up in Tanzania. Go ahead, let me see. I want to be
wait, the time will tell us. But all in all, the young people in Tanzania as well as in Africa.
Why did he go to Tanzania, Joey?
For Africa Energy Summit that was being held in Tanzania.
Okay.
Energy Summit. Yeah.
All right, go ahead.
Okay. We have Jiba who also said earlier, how does a hat affect the climate? It doesn't, never has. We've grown up in all those hats. Never have I seen it affecting any climate. You're saying, how is a hat or a nomad affecting climate as well? No way. This is just them. You've heard them saying we need to get the cattle from the grass so that the grass can. This is some bullshit. And I also see Jiba Jaba say this is crazy. They have no sense of autonomy from lack of education. This is frustrating. Exactly. And also see you say Boniface. That's a cool name. Like Like, good luck. And Joseph says, African son Obama pitched this to Africa along with Baitism. I didn't get that comment. But also, you're saying, I've had white guys talk about African safaris to hunt. It was a minimum of $25,000. Locals never see that. Of course, they won't. They don't benefit from none of these agendas that don't even benefit the country itself, leave alone even me, myself.
Remember, all the tourists, as William told us, all the tourist stuff in Africa is owned by white people. So they make the money. Not the African. All the tourist shit, when these Europeans come down and look at lions and all that bullshit, they'll keep Africans hired. They don't run shit. The white people run it. I'm like, what? What? Make this shit make sense.
It's crazy, but revolution is on the corner. Personally, I'm so excited about the elections in 2027. I can't wait to see literally what's gonna happen. If people are gonna be demanding for change, or you still want the same kuna as president. If we're gonna have a
now you don't. They don't. You see imagine how these jealous morons feel when Ibrahim Traoré comes in their country and all their people go run after Ibrahim Traoré.
I know, it's good. The president of the country don't care about you. We've seen the real leadership, and it's been seen. Ibrahim Traoré is gonna be the awakening of the African continent.
That's right. And understand, don't think none of these African Negroes, these puppets, they hate his ass. They want him dead. They want his ass gone. Because you imagine him going into Tanzania, and if he was screaming at him, they're not screaming after that woman, after that broad, after that phony. So
I don't think Tanzanians like her for anything.
No, they don't like her ass.
Coming to the end of today's episode. Hope you guys have enjoyed that show of the day. I've shared the link for those who'd love to continue. There's a few minutes left on that video. Like I'd say 5 minutes actually, or 6 literally. On that video.
I'm ready to find it. I don't care about I gotta find the Ibrahim Traoré video. In Tanzania, I didn't know it was there. I gotta see the people going wild.
I'll check with you. I'll send it to you just in a few. But much love, family. Have yourselves a beautiful day. See you guys, of course, later on the reaction time that is on Rumble. Shall be also on YouTube. But of course, tonight I'm not gonna be doing the music show. We're gonna be doing yesterday's show since I was not able to cover up. So we'll be covering that up tonight. We have the African Day. So
we do the African Day show, Joe. Guys, at 12 o'clock noon Eastern time. Because Joby had to go home. She was hurt. She was a little bit under the weather.
And also, Steve Shiva says we need to clone a bunch of Jobbies and send her throughout Africa. Man,
you gotta get a bunch of Jobies. You can't have a bunch of Christines. You gotta have a bunch of Jobies.
Much love, family. Have yourselves a beautiful day. Asante sana once again for tuning in. And of course, keeping that alive. I hope you guys enjoy. For those who shall be catching this on a replay, remember to pin your comments as well. Don't bring no racism on BitChute. Kindly be kind, okay? Much love.
And when we did together, we were in it. And everything you say,